Hey, it's Lauren. So today's video is all about how to achieve a 12-hour face of makeup that is also splash proof, which is perfect for warmer weather, summertime, being at pools, etc. I have tested this all out. This is not just me saying that this actually works. I had this makeup on for 13 hours yesterday, and I really didn't have a lot of breakdown. The only thing that kind of uncovered was this. And that was kind of it. My face looked pretty much exactly the same as when I applied my makeup and I had been in a pool. So I'm going to start with some of the MAC Longwear Nourishing Foundation. This has pretty decent coverage. I like to get it on with a makeup brush first and then go back over it with a sponge just to smooth out any lines that you may see from a foundation brush. And you'll also notice I'm starting from the center of my face, working my way out. This just gives a really nice kind of overall base coverage, just evens everything out, kind of cuts some of my redness. So now that that's on, I'm just gonna go in and just press it in a little bit better with a sponge. This doesn't have to be like a really intensive step. This is really just to kind of smooth everything out. Next, I'm going to apply some of the Huda Overachiever Concealer. I wear the shade Coconut Flakes, and I have to say, I hadn't used this in a while, and then I put it on yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, I remember why I love this so much. It is such a full coverage concealer, and it is impressively long wearing. I really love this, and I'm gonna reach for it more again because it truly is a fantastic concealer. If you're someone who has kind of bluish under eyes like I do, it will just like ghost that out. I know you're probably wondering, why am I not covering that up? It seems like a perioral dermatitis flare, so I really don't like putting liquid makeup on that, so I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is powder my face though. I'm going to use the MAC Studio Fix. This is the shade NC25, and I will put some powder over that just to kind of help blur it out. I find that powders don't irritate my flares as much, so I can use a little bit of that. But I'm gonna set pretty good with this all over my face, around my eyes, really focusing more heavily on the T-zone and then kind of blending out the excess powder on my brush that way. I am going to be applying a bronzer and a blush, so I don't want that to stick because they are powder formulations. So I do think it's best at this point, if you're done applying your liquid or cream products, to set your whole face before applying any type of powder, blush, or bronzer so that they don't grab and cling to your liquids. I'm going to apply Thrive Sun Chaser in Rhea. Love this bronzer. It's their lightest shade. I just think that this is such a beautiful looking bronzer though, and it just kind of melts into the skin, and I still feel like I have it on at the end of the day. I think sometimes people say like they feel like bronzers wear off as the day goes on and they feel like they just don't have any left, and I don't feel like that's the case with this. I feel like my skin still looks really sun-kissed even when I go to wash my makeup off. Also from Thrive, I love this blush. This is Angelina, and it's kind of this bricky red color, and I'm going to apply that with a very loose, fluffy brush. I do find that this formula is pretty pigmented, at least for me it has been. I really love this color though because it kind of gives you that sun flush appearance. It also is a kind of like a strobing blush is what they call it. So you do get a somewhat highlighted effect. And just to kind of tone down some of that intensity, I'm going to go back over it with my powder brush, just where I feel like it grabbed a little more intense than I'd like. And you can also do this to soften out the edges. That's a little better. Now what I'm gonna do is apply some MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and this really just extends the longevity of whatever you put on top of it, especially for powders though. It really gives those powders something to grab onto. If you don't have Painterly Paint Pot, I would suggest a concealer, and really kind of let that dry down a little bit. You could even powder over top of it to achieve a similar type of base for an eyeshadow. I don't believe that you have to go out and spend a bunch of money and get exactly these products. So in the instance of that, like, I think using a concealer and powdering over top of it is a perfect substitute. Really what you want is something that has some grip, but also is not going to just grab pigment and not allow you to blend it. So putting some powder over that concealer is going to allow for more slip with the pigments. And actually, I'm gonna run just a little bit of what's left on my finger underneath my eyes too. So now it's a Thrive day. I'm gonna use the Thrive palette number 3, and I'm going to start with that lightest shade. It's kind of a bone kind of shade, and we'll put that all over. This is a really great canvas for everything. I'm gonna really bring that up on the brow bone, nice and bright. You can see it just kicked it up a notch from having Painterly by itself on there. Also gonna show a little more love to these inner corners. All right, now I'm gonna take this second shade here, same brush, and I'm going to put this in my crease and kind of focus on where my natural socket is. Not going to create a new one. And you'll notice with this shade, I'm really doing a windshield wiper motion just to get it all on and blend it out. All right, now I'm gonna take a slightly smaller brush and this terracotta shade. I'm gonna put that on the outer edges of my lid and sort of blend that into my crease as well. And drag that probably 3/4 of the way across my lid space. I wanna leave some of that brightness towards the inner portion of my eye. Just for a quick blend, I'm gonna take that bigger brush that I had and run that across. Now I'm going to take more of my pointed kind of dome brush and this deep chocolatey shade. And I'm going to focus that on the very outer V of my eye. Kind of pushing that into the socket a little bit and using the edge of the brush to blend a little bit. You'll notice I open and close my eyes quite a bit when I'm doing crease colors, and I also do it with liners, just because I have somewhat deep set eyes, and so this really helps me to see where that placement is going to be, both when my eye is open and closed. And then I'm just going to take a teeny tiny bit of that darkest shade on the very corner of here and kind of check where my angle is coming from the top and drag that down on the lower lashes. Really concentrating most of that color on the outer corner and then drag across. This acts like a long-lasting liner. Powders tend to not move as much as things that have cream bases. So I find that this is a really great option to have some shadow around the eye to act as a liner. What I'm gonna do is take that really fluffy brush again, dust off whatever is on the excess, and just do a quick kind of blend. These are Huda premium eyeshadow brushes. The dark domed point is a Huda. And these brushes, honestly, I just feel like they do the work for you. They're the kind of brushes that should last a lifetime. All right, the next step is going to be some eyeliner. Also using Thrive today. A lot of their products are just really, really long wearing and waterproof. So this is a great option. It's a shade Ella. It's a matte brown color. And I'm just gonna go over kind of where I've powdered. The nice thing too is this comes with a little kind of silicone smudger on the end. So you can kind of smooch out that line a little bit. And I'm going to do just a little on the bottom. Very pushed into the lashes. All right, next we're going to fill in the brows a little bit. I'm going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow. I find this is really, really long wearing and doesn't seem to move around too much once it's kind of set down. So that is why I chose this particular pencil for filling. All right, now to hold my brows in place, I'm going to use Thrive Instant Brow Fix Gel in Audrey. Next, I'm going to use some of my Thrive Liquid Lash Extension Mascara. This is a tubing mascara. It's not like waterproof, so to speak, but it's splash proof. So as long as you're not fully submerging your face into a pool and you're just kind of keeping your head above water, you might get some splashes on you. This is a great option. Final step is going to be putting something on my lips. And I loved this combination. I used the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talks lip liner. So let me apply that. And the final step, this is like old school meets new school, is Lancome Juicy Tubes in the shade Simmer, which is like this really, I'm gonna swatch it on my hand so you can see first without my lip color behind it. It's like this really pretty kind of peachy base. And then it has like this really pretty, almost like iridescent kind of lilac shift to it. I love this color because it almost has this way of making your lips look a little bit fuller and poutier. I don't know, and they're so long wearing. I love this product. I haven't had one in so long, but it just kind of struck me and I was like, I want a juicy tube. I find that like after a minute, these kind of settle into the lips and just make them look a little more blurred and like you don't really have as many lip lines. I love this product. This particular shade has, I think, a little more pigment than some of their lighter shades. A lot of their lighter lip glosses are almost more like sheer with like a hint of a glitter. This, I feel like, actually has a little bit more pigment than some of their other ones. But this is my 12-hour face. This is my face for if I'm going to be by a pool, might get some splashes. It's going to hold up throughout the whole day and not break down and not wear off. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you give it a try, I would love to know if this works out for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. It helps other people to find my channel and I can continue bringing you this kind of content. See you next time. Bye.